10 miles. That's the gap. A US destroyer is burning and dead in the water, and that failure creates a neat little radar silence, just big enough for an Iranian Kilo-class sub to slide in close. But what if the fire isn't bad luck? What if it's bait, staged to pull the sub into a place it can't see its way out of? In this video, you're going to track the deception loop step by step, how a blind spot gets built, how it gets sold to the enemy, and why a Virginia-class sub is waiting in the dark. What would you do if you were the Kilo skipper? Comment your choice below. 10 miles. That's nothing on land. But at sea, 10 miles is a whole room. You've got the USS Leon lit up like a bad dream. Smoke rolling low, orange flicker in the cracks, water hoses kicking down, crews masked up, dragging gear, slamming hatches, trying to keep heat from reaching something that turns a fire into a flame. The ship isn't sprinting, it's drifting, and from the outside, it looks like a wounded animal that can't bite. Now watch what changes. Radios get short, calls get clipped, radar goes quiet, or it stays on but gets used in a way that's tight. Not because they forgot how to fight, but because damage control eats your time, your people, your power. A destroyer in a fire is a ship with its hands full. That's where the clean gap lives. A clean gap isn't magic. It's a moment when normal tracking is messy. The ship that usually shouts its presence with emissions and suddenly goes soft. Aircraft that would be doing wide patrol arcs get pulled into closer work, eyes on the flames, eyes on the deck, watching for follow-on threats. Other ships in the area shift their focus too, because nobody wants to be the one who didn't help the burning home. And in that shuffle, the map doesn't go blank, it just gets harder. Iran reads that hard-to-read moment like a green light. A Kilo-class skipper doesn't need a parade of targets. He needs an opening. A burning ship makes noise, makes confusion, makes cover. So the sub slips in to listen. Maybe to line up a shot. Maybe to trail, attack. Maybe to cover some other move on the surface that wants the big Navy looking the wrong way. In a crisis, you can hide a lot inside the word rescue. And here's the loop. The moment you believe the destroyer is helpless, you start moving like that. You take a little more speed because you want position now, not later. You pick a depth that fits your story instead of the safest one. You accept risk because you think the other side is too hurt to punish you. That's not bravado. That's human. You tell yourself, they're blind, they're busy, they're alone. And once you buy that, every choice you make gets sharper and more aggressive. That's why the Kilo can be such a problem in warm water with layers. Warm seas don't behave like a clean swimming pool. Sound bends. It slides along layers. It gets trapped or it fades, depending on where you sit. A Kilo can go slow and stay patient, letting the ocean smear its signature. Its hull and coatings are built for quiet in the kind of sound band where surface ships can get lazy because they're used to hearing the big stuff, the fast stuff, the obvious stuff. A slow diesel-electric boat, tucked into the right layer, can feel like a ghost. So the Kilo captain doesn't hunt with perfect intel. He hunts with a story that feels true. He doesn't need to know every ship in the grid. He needs one idea he can live inside for the next hour. They're hurt, they're blind, they're alone. And the ocean helps him believe it, because the ocean always gives you excuses. A faint contact, a lost bearing, a gap you can explain away. Meanwhile, the US side doesn't lose the picture. They change the picture. They shift from loud sensors to quiet ones. They stop broadcasting certainty and start collecting doubt. They let the enemy think the map went dark, because the goal isn't to win a loud firefight in front of cameras. The goal is to shape the path the sub takes next, like guiding a hand toward a door handle that's wired. Payoff. Why would the US Navy deliberately let a warship appear to burn and drift? And what does that 10-mile radar gap actually hide? It hides a switch from visible control to invisible control, where the real aim is to steer the enemy into a predictable lane, not trade missiles. But then the rumor spreads offshore. Russia is watching too. And now that same gap doesn't just pull in Iran. It pulls in a third set of eyes, listening for the moment the trap snaps. One bad turn, one tiny second, one dead crew. That's the part most people miss. The blind spot isn't for the sub. It's for everyone else on the surface trying to make sense of smoke, panic, and a ship that looks half gone. Down below, a Virginia-class boat sits outside the mess, slow and still, letting the sea do the work. It doesn't rush. It doesn't chase. It waits in water that muffles, where the burn and drift up top throws a big curtain of noise across the whole area, and it builds the track the hard way, one faint hint at a time. This starts with passive sonar. No pings. No, here I am, blast into the water. Just listening. The towed array rides behind the sub like a long ear on a leash. So far back it's away from the sub's only his foot. It catches tiny stuff, like a distant whine that repeats, a low rumble that comes and goes, a beat that doesn't match the sea. Now picture what the Kilo thinks it's doing. It believes it's closing on a hurt destroyer, coming in tight to sniff the scene. It feels smart, because the surface picture looks sloppy. But the Virginia isn't thinking about the destroyer. It's thinking about the stalker. And the Virginia only needs one mistake. A turn at the wrong time, and the Kilo's flow noise changes. A speed bump, and a pump kicks on to manage water and trim. A bad depth dip, and the boat crosses a layer that makes sound carry better, like stepping into a quiet hallway. Even opening and closing systems can leave a quick signature. Short, sharp, enough. So how does the Virginia turn that into a real track? Not just a guess. Sensor fusion. That's the plain meaning. It takes messy bits from different sensors and times and makes one clean story. One bearing line from the towed array, then another a few minutes later. A weak contact on the hull array that shows up only when the sub points a certain way. A time gap that says, if that sound moved like this, the sub has to be here, not there. The computer stack does the math fast, but the crew still has to think, because the ocean lies. But then the trigger hits, and it hits up top. The staged casualty and the confusion on the surface pushes the Iranian escort into a bad choice. They drop their electronic cover at the worst moment. Maybe they stop masking their own emissions. Maybe they shift comms. Maybe they change formation to help the burning ship. However it happens, the surface layer changes. And when the surface layer changes, the underwater picture sharpens. The Kilo is counting on chaos. Now the chaos has a shape. The Virginia's crew sees a pattern. And once a pattern shows up, the track tightens like a fist. The Kilo is still quiet, but quiet isn't invisible when someone is patient enough to listen. Meanwhile, Russia enters the board, not with a shot, not with a speech, just with presence. A Russian ship or sub in the area changes how everyone moves. More listening, more posturing, more crews trying to read intent off tiny moves. That's where accidents grow, because a harmless ship can look like an attack prep if you're already on edge. And the trap here isn't a torpedo first. It's containment. You keep the Kilo inside a box. Water layers up top. Seafloor shapes below. Shipping lanes that add noise in some spots, but also block routes in others. The Virginia stays on the edge of that box, not sprinting, just herding. Every time the Kilo tries to slip out, it has to change speed or depth, and every change makes sound. It's like forcing a burglar to run across gravel. Payoff. How does a Virginia-class submarine use passive sonar and towed array sensors to lock onto an enemy sub without ever giving away its own position? It stays silent, it listens long, and it uses fused bearings over time to build a firing-grade track while the target thinks the threat is somewhere else. Payoff. What makes the Iranian Kilo-class submarine so hard to detect in the eastern Mediterranean? And why did it swim straight into a net it couldn't see? Kilo stealth works when the sea is noisy and the enemy is rushed. It fails when a quiet hunter goes slow, stitches the sound into a track, and the Kilo commits to the story that was planted for it. And once that track is solid, the whole fight shifts from ships and missiles to something colder. Control of what the enemy thinks is real. One loop, that's the weapon. A fire on deck, a quiet sea, and a sub that thinks it found an easy way. But the punch isn't the flames, the missile, or the torpedo. It's the loop. Show a false pick. Let the other guy buy it. Then punish every move he makes inside that line. So put yourself in that Kilo. You feel the gap. You feel the bait. Do you back out or push in and risk the box closing? Comment your choice below. If you want to understand the tactical mindset that wins these battles, subscribe now. Subscribe and join a community that seeks to understand the realities of modern conflict.